Well, hello there, welcome. Today we're going to learn about the book of Haggai. Haggai is considered a minor prophet, and many scholars believe that he was one of the 12 prophets who prophesied during the Second Temple period. Haggai played a key role in encouraging the Jewish people to rebuild the temple in Jerusalem after their exile. His messages emphasized God's call to covenant faithfulness, the importance of obedience, and the promise of future blessings in a glorious temple. Haggai 1 verses 3 through 5 says, "Then the word of the Lord came by Haggai the prophet, saying, Is it time for you yourselves to dwell in your paneled houses, and this temple to lie in ruins? Now therefore, thus says the Lord of hosts, consider your ways." Alright, so what's the context here? Well, the people of Israel returned from exile in Babylon, but they neglected to rebuild the temple. Instead, they focused on rebuilding their own homes. So, Haggai was sent by God to confront them and encourage them to prioritize God's house over their own comfort and convenience. So, Haggai 1 verse 6 continues, "You have sown much, and bring in little. You eat, but do not have enough. You drink, but you are not filled with drink. You clothe yourselves, but no one is warm. And he who earns wages to put into a bag with holes." Haggai's message was not merely a call to rebuild the temple. It was a call to faithfulness. He reminded the people that their lack of prosperity and their inability to rebuild the temple were consequences of their disobedience and neglect of their covenant obligations with God. Haggai also brought a message of hope and encouragement. He prophesied that the second temple would be greater in glory than the first, signifying God's renewed presence and blessing among his people. He promised that God would be with them and make their future prosperous, if they would only obey his voice and do what he told them. And thankfully, the people did obey. We see that in chapter 1 verse 12 it says, "Then Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel and Joshua, the son of Jehozadak the high priest, with all the remnant of the people, obeyed the voice of the Lord their God and the words of Haggai the prophet as the Lord their God had sent him. And the people feared the presence of the Lord. And so they began to rebuild the temple." And verse 14 says, "So the Lord stirred up the spirit of Zerubbabel, governor of Judah, and the spirit of Joshua the son of Jehozadak the high priest, and the spirit of all the remnant of the people, and they came and worked on the house of the Lord of hosts their God, and on the 21st day of December. In the second year they began to offer sacrifices unto the Lord, burnt offerings and grain offerings and peace offerings." Haggai's prophecies mention Zerubbabel, a descendant of King David, comparing him to a king's signet ring, and this was a sign that both branches, Judah and Israel, would come together again. Some believe that this prophecy pointed towards the future Messiah, Jesus, who would come from the line of David and be the ultimate king of Israel. Remember that Haggai wasn't just a prophet of doom and gloom, he was a prophet of action. He believed that true faith was demonstrated through obedience and hard work. So, he encouraged the people to get up and do something for the Lord. And that's a lesson for us today as well. Let's take action and do what we can to serve and please God. Thank you for joining me today for the book of Haggai. Until next time, may the Lord bless and keep you.